It's been over a year since we entered pandemic-induced economic restrictions. Indeed, Canada Economist Brendon Bernard continues to track the impact COVID-19 has had on job postings and job seeker interests. He joins us live to discuss his findings. Brendon, good morning. Welcome.
Thanks for having me.
What's the most interesting thing you've seen on the job market, both in the last couple of months and over the last year?
So big picture, looking at the job numbers, I've just been struck by the magnitude of the swings. And that's both on the downside, but also the upside. We've seen in periods when the pandemic has been slowing and daily life is starting to resume, like this past February, that jobs have bounced back in a surprising manner. Maybe not a full rebound, but a pretty rapid recovery. And so that's left us in our current situation where we see employment having made a pretty large bounce back from the huge losses that we saw last spring, but still a ways to go for full recovery.
Brendon, what types of jobs are people applying for? Is there a theme here?
Yeah, there is. So we can track on Indeed the types of jobs that job seekers are clicking on. And what we see is that the pandemic is really impacting job seeker interest. So several roles in sectors where COVID risks are elevated have declined in popularity. So we're talking about warehousing, retail, cleaning and sanitation. And I think for employers, the key takeaway from this is that you really need to think about when looking for candidates and trying to coax them to your job, how are you emphasizing the types of safety measures you are taking to improve that job and make it an attractive role, along with the everyday aspects of the job that make the role attractive to job seekers.
Brendon, obviously the last year has changed everything. And some new types of opportunities and jobs and professions have arisen out of this, and they're doing it by the day. Are there new jobs that people are applying for now that didn't basically exist 12 months ago?
Contact tracer. So that's the one that stands out. It's the combination of the public health world and being a stay-at-home detective. But we also see other trends where we're not talking about totally new jobs, but definitely trends that highlight the direction the economy is going to as we get out of this. So one is in the world of tech. We see really rapid job posting growth in really specialized tech roles like software architect and cloud engineer. And these are sort of high-end, high-paying roles that are really going to help drive the digitization of the economy going forward. Another trend we see is in nursing. And nursing was in high demand even pre-pandemic, but it's only grown since. And this is actually a challenge for the Canadian healthcare sector long term.
Do the numbers change province by province, Brendon? How does it look from BC all the way through the rest of the country? Are there differences?
Yeah, there are differences. So in the latest February job numbers, we saw Ontario among the large provinces lagging behind others. And really that weakness was concentrated in Toronto. Toronto still had restrictions on things like in-store shopping and dining back in mid-February. And then on the flip side is BC, where BC is actually pretty close to their pre-pandemic level. And so a range of areas, but I think when you look at a province like BC that's recovered a lot of jobs, I think we can look at that from Ontario and see, okay, well, there's some progress to be had and some gains to be made.
And how is it different between Canada and the States right now before we let you go?
So you can compare this on a variety of measures. What I like to track is the number of people working today compared to how many were working in February. And right now you see that Canada has a slight edge. So in Canada, we're still down about 3.1% from February 2020 levels. In the US, it's more than 5% down. And so that gap really started opening up last summer when Canada got COVID cases down further at the end of that first wave. And so I think part of that reflects different trajectories of the pandemic. Also, in the US, there are large parts of the US where schools actually aren't open for in-person instruction. And so I think that's created a drag on parents' employment in the US that's probably not been as substantial in Canada.
Brendon, good stuff. Where can we get more information online?
Hiringlab.org. That's the name of my team's think tank.
Awesome. Appreciate it, Brendon. Have a great day.
Thanks for having me.
All right, are you pro-dog or pro-cat? To a more serious question. How has your pet helped you through the pandemic? It's National Puppy Day, so why don't we all just fight about cats and dogs? Like cats and dogs. You sound off next. 1-866-267-3797. Feedback at breakfasttelevision.ca. At Breakfast TV on Twitter 24/7. We read everything. Believe me, you sound off next. Good morning, Canada. This is Breakfast Television.